So I have this theory that hell isn't fire and brimstone. Hell is just eternal small talk.
Like,
You're stuck in a room forever, and you have to make conversation with someone you barely know. And the only topics available are the weather, traffic, and how work's been going. And you can never leave. That's hell. And I think I've been there multiple times. Let me explain. I'm not antisocial. I like people. I really do. But small talk is my personal nightmare. It's this weird social dance where everyone knows the steps, but I keep tripping over my own feet. It always starts the same way. You're somewhere you don't want to be, a party, a work event, your cousin's wedding, and you make eye contact with someone. And it's too late. You've made eye contact. Now you have to talk to them. There's no going back. Social rules demand it. So you walk over, and you're both smiling these weird, strained smiles that don't reach your eyes. And someone says, "Hey, how are you?" And you say, "Good. How are you?" And they say, "Good." And then silence. Awkward, painful silence. And you're both just standing there, smiling, and your brain is screaming. Say something. Anything. Just make a noise. But wait, it gets worse. Because now you have to actually come up with a topic. And your brain, in its panic, goes through every possible option at lightning speed. Option 1, the weather. So, weather? Yeah, that's great. Really groundbreaking stuff. It's outside. Amazing observation. Nobel Prize material. Option 2, work? So, how's work? And they say, busy. And you say, yeah, me too. And then you're back to silence. Because what are you supposed to say next? Oh, busy doing what? Filing? Emailing? Existing? You can't ask that. So you just nod and smile, and your face is starting to hurt. Option 3, something you have in common. This is where it gets really desperate. You're scanning your memory, trying to find a nigh piece of information about this person. Didn't you go on vacation recently? Yeah, to Florida. And you're like, oh, nice. How was it? And they say, hot. And you're like, yeah, Florida is hot. And then you're back to silence. Because you've exhausted your one piece of knowledge about them. But here's the thing, it's not just the topics. It's the physical experience. My hands get sweaty, like really sweaty. And I'm holding a drink, and I'm worried I'm going to drop it because my hands are so slippery. And my smile becomes this frozen, painful thing. I can feel my cheeks starting to cramp, and I'm nodding too much. Like I'm nodding at everything they say, even if it doesn't require nodding. They could say, I have a dog, and I'm nodding like, yes. Yes, you do have a dog. I acknowledge this fact with vigorous head movement. And then, of course, there are the different types of small talk encounters. Each one has its own special flavor of awkwardness. Type 1, the elevator, small talk. This is the shortest, most intense version. You get in an elevator with someone, and you have approximately 30 seconds to fill with conversation. And someone always says, going up? No, I'm going down. We're in an elevator. That's what it does. But you have to say something. So you're like, yep, just heading to the floor. And then you both stare at the numbers lighting up, counting down the seconds until you can escape. And it feels like an eternity. And you're both just standing there, breathing the same air. And it's so quiet, you can hear your own heartbeat. Type 2. The party small talk. This is the marathon version. You're at a party, and you're talking to someone, and the conversation is dying. But you can't leave because that would be rude. So you're both just standing there, sipping your drinks, and you're looking around the room, hoping someone will come save you. And you see your friend across the room, and you make eye contact. And you're trying to telepathically communicate. Help me. Come over here and pretend you need to tell me something important. But they don't get the message. They just wave. And you're stuck. Type 3. The family event small talk. This is the most dangerous version. You're at a family gathering, and you're talking to your aunt's cousin's neighbor or something, and they're asking you questions about your life. So, are you seeing anyone? How's work? When are you going to settle down? And you have to answer, but you don't want to give too much information because then they'll have more questions. So you're giving these vague, non-committal answers. Work's good. Dating is happening. I'll settle down when the time is right. And they're nodding, but you can tell they're not satisfied. They want details, but you're not giving them details. So, it's this weird standoff. You think that's bad? Hold on. Let me tell you about the escape attempts. Because eventually, you have to get out of the conversation, and there are only a few socially acceptable ways to do this. Escape attempt 1. The bathroom excuse. Well, I should probably go. Use the bathroom. Classic. Reliable. But sometimes it backfires. Because what if they're like, oh, me too. I'll come with you. And then you're walking to the bathroom together, and you have to make more small talk on the way. Escape attempt 2. The drink refill. I'm going to go get another drink. This works well. Unless your drink is still full, then you look weird. Or unless they offer to get you one, then you're trapped again. Escape attempt 3. The phone check. You pull out your phone and pretend to look at it, and you're like, oh, sorry, I have to take this. But your phone didn't ring. It didn't vibrate. You're just holding it and pretending. And they know you're pretending. But they play along because they want to escape too. But here's the thing that really gets me sometimes. Just sometimes, small talk actually works. And it's the most confusing feeling in the world. I was at a coffee shop once, waiting in line, and the person in front of me turned around and said, "Long line, huh?" And I said, "Yeah, always is at this time." And they said, "I come here every day, and it's always like this." And I said, "Me too." And then we started talking about coffee, and then about work, and then about life. And 20 minutes later, we were still talking, and it wasn't awkward. It was nice. We exchanged numbers. We became friends. And now we get coffee together sometimes. So what happened there? Why was that small talk successful when all my other attempts have been disasters? I think it's because neither of us was trying. We were just talking. There was no pressure, no expectation. We were just two people in a coffee shop complaining about the line, and it turned into a real conversation. So here's what I've started to think. Maybe small talk isn't the enemy. Maybe the enemy is the pressure we put on ourselves. Maybe we're so worried about saying the wrong thing, about being awkward, about running out of topics, that we make it awkward. Maybe if we just relaxed, if we just accepted that sometimes conversations will be weird, sometimes there will be silence, and that's okay. Because here's the truth. Everyone is bad at small talk. Everyone feels awkward. Everyone has those moments where they're smiling and nodding and their brain is screaming. We're all just pretending to know what we're doing. We're all just trying to get through the interaction without embarrassing ourselves. So next time you're stuck in a small talk situation, just remember, the other person is probably just as uncomfortable as you are. They're probably just as desperate to find a topic. They're probably just as relieved when the conversation ends. And if you're sitting here listening to this and you're thinking, yeah, I hate small talk too, then welcome to the club. We're the people who would rather stand in silence than talk about the weather. We're the people who practice conversation starters in the mirror. We're the people who consider hiding in the bathroom until the party is over. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way, 'cause at least we're all awkward together. Now go like this video, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, what's your worst small talk experience? What's that one conversation you still cringe about years later? I want to know. I want to know that I'm not alone in this beautiful, chaotic, socially awkward mess.